Welcome back to Kevin Pollak's Chat Show. I am, as always, Chat Show. How the fuck are you? What's going on? You don't call enough. We don't talk. That is good water. We've had a very interesting week since we saw you last, and by that I mean 2 weeks. We were here with Carol Leifer on the 28th, 8th, maybe? Sure. Felt like March 28th. February was. Thank you, Sam. And then I went to Vegas, which clearly is why I still think it's March 2 weeks ago.
Right.
Yeah, did a little Vegas run for a wonderful charity.
The
Tia's
28th
Hope.
was correct.
28th, February 28th, yeah.
Look at you.
Oh, it's that damn leap year is Oscar Day. Which, by the way, I'm going to take a little time, thank you for reminding me, to pat myself on the back by predicting one of Chris Rock's jokes. Now, my guest, Carol Leifer, which is a great show to watch or listen to, had written on the Oscars as one of the writers 7 times. They gather in the wings, they're punching jokes between the breaks, and after the host constantly, or they're in the dressing rooms trying to make the presenters feel better about their copy that they have to read from the teleprompter. 7 times she'd done it. And I predicted that Chris Rock would go after Jada Pinkett Smith, because that's a name, that he would go after her. First, I said he will make fun of the Academy for being racist. Then he will make fun of her for drawing attention to herself and her opinion, and no one cares. That no one was going to miss her. And then I predicted the analogy with which he would use for the joke.
You called Rihanna?
I said, no, because he did several. He ended up doing several. But I said one of them would be, us missing Jada at the Oscars is like blank missing me at the blank. Yeah, which of course he did. I mean, it was all from a comedian standpoint. It was
Sure.
And she said, I'll bet you $100.
Uh-oh.
I got the text, Carol Leifer, cash is fine.
What did she say? I'm good for it? Something like
She
that?
texted me back saying I'm good for
She's
it.
like, oh, good for it.
Yeah, which technically a writer should be. Very good for it.
You would hope.
Yeah. The Vegas trip was good. You know, I love the video poker. 2 four-of-a-kind aces on the dollar machine paying $800 a pop each. Missed out on the 2,000, Sam. You know, if you have a 2, 3, or 4 kicker with the 4 aces, it pays 2,000.
That's ridiculous.
But I did have 4 sevens dealt to me. It's the whole thing's so fucking random, it's ridiculous. But when 4 of a kind is dealt, you go, did you see? Nope, nobody cares. Yeah, it's one of those wonderful little moments that I'm sharing now that even less people care. Sammy, how was your 2 weeks? You had a birthday. You aged last night.
I did age last evening. Yeah, I'm officially in my mid-30s now.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
With J-Mac, our research producer, and Jamie, who sits next to you, as most people know.
Yep.
So you had a little gathering.
We had a little thing.
Yeah.
Small group. Only those who I wish to watch me enter my mid-30s gracefully.
Do you think your friend John did not show up last night because a year ago Jamie yelled at him about vacation?
No, I do not.
I think it's because he recently got married.
It is because he recently got married, and actually he and his wife were going to attend, but illness struck, and they could not.
The old illness.
The old illness
And
struck.
I did not yell at him for vacation. You're the one that brought it up. Oh, she just saw a cut of it. Why? And knowing that I hated it, why would you bring
I think
it
it's
up?
important that this conversation initially started between the two of you, and it was fine there, but then you decided to engage the director, and now a year later you're deciding to engage the internet. So really, it just keeps building.
Yes.
Don't even get me started on this Ghostbusters.
Oh, yeah. No, I just started a hashtag, official boycott of the new Ghostbusters. And I love Paul Feig. He's been on this show. I love him dearly, and I'm very, very upset by this remake, or reimagining. And I was at the movies 2 nights ago, and the trailer played, and a third of the audience laughed, and one guy at the end said, should have left it alone. And I just fucking applauded.
Was that Ernie Hudson?
It was. Oh, and scene.
I was going to ask if it was the same guy that whenever we saw The Revenant, at the end of The Revenant went, he did.
Yes, that's a quote. That is a quote.
That's gotta hurt.
Yeah, there's a lucky fan.
That was in Blimp, the Hindenburg story.
Oh, I know.
Coming to you live from West Side Comedy Theater. Thanks to Sean Casey and Pals for allowing us to have this show here.
Hey, what happened here recently? I heard there was a big lip sync extravaganza.
Jamie is what I would like you to address. I would like your moment here on the show to be about your first time on stage as an adult. First time.
It's true.
Some have said should be last time.
They do a show here where it's, it's supposed to be like the lip sync battle show, but it ends up being like everyone like takes a song and makes like some crazy theatrical concept out of it.
They write a sketch basically.
Yeah, but what
Wardrobe.
I just straight up did the monorail song from The Simpsons.
Yep, you did.
And it went very well.
And like this song in The Simpsons, the moment, the episode, written by Conan O'Brien, which James L. Brooks confirmed Conan did not write the lyrics
for the song.
to the song. I think I just dropped James L. Brooks' name. He sits next to me at poker on a weekly basis. It's not important. Huh? What was great though about the episode, about the song, and about what you did was how individuals stand up in the audience.
Yes, I had many Springfielders help me.
Yeah.
But it was fun.
And you even had a gentleman whose, I believe, birthplace, certainly family, hails from India, stand up and as the Apu.
Yes, I did indeed have have a genuine Apu Nahasapima Pedlon.
Thank
That
you.
got a big laugh.
It did huge.
He's also beloved by the theater.
Yeah, Tool is loved. Yeah.
He's beloved.
So you took home a trophy.
I took home a trophy. I won my round, and then I advanced to the finals. And then the final round was all Michael Jackson songs, and I got Jackson 5, I Want You Back. So I did a little Groot from Guardians of the Galaxy thing.
That song is featured when Baby Groot is growing from the pot.
I did a little Baby Groot thing that went over very well, and I won the whole damn thing.
Took home the
How
trophy.
about that? I got a trophy. Put it right up there with my trivia trophies.
Check her out on Instagram if you want to see the photo of it.
Yes, I did put a photo. I stole the photo though from Facebook. Somebody at the theater was taking photos, and I stole it from Facebook because nobody took. I couldn't take photos. I was doing the thing.
You mean you had someone steal it from Facebook for you
Yes.
since you're not on Facebook?
Yes, I stole it. So I don't know who initially took it.
Jamal Fox, is that the Instagram?
Yes, Jamal.
All right, upcoming shows, and then we're going to get to our guest because he's been insanely patient already. Next Sunday, Jane Lynch, the very amazing Jane Lynch. That's March 20th, March 27th, Easter Sunday. We all remember our live Easter Sunday show with Henry Winkler, during which we had an earthquake, and the Fonz hit the table, this table.
Never
and the earthquake
forget.
Stopped. March 27th, Jamie Lee Curtis, everybody. Whoa! Bring those paws together, ladies and Jews. 7th anniversary show, April 17th, we return to Largo at the Cornet for a live extravaganza on stage. Jeff Goldblum at the piano and at the desk. Colin Hay, super fantastic storyteller and a great musician. And then arguably the top touring stand-up comedian of the day, Mr. Bill Burr. He's going to do a little stand-up and a conversation. Former guest coming back. Check us out on the YouTube, iTunes, write us, Earwolf, write us a goddamn review, all those things. We'd love to hear from you. In fact, we have a Larry King game winner we're going to play, and then we're going to get to our guest. Write to us at kpcsfanmail@gmail.com. Write to us at kpcsfanmail@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you. Frank Cromer, is that right?
Yeah.
As in Greg Cromer?
Yeah.
No relation? All right. He of the insane mustache on the Hyundai
I was going to say
commercial.
that's his mustache's name.
Yes, that's right. He named the mustache Frank. Won this video animated. First time we've ever had an animated Larry King game submission. So I wanted to play it.
What you're saying is, if you're just doing the audio-only version of this podcast,
Yes, you'll hear what
you are about to miss
the animation.
at least 50% of why this is so funny.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I'm going to say 89% of why this
Okay,
is so
wow.
funny. Because as you listen to it,
Yeah.
you'll wonder why we picked it.
Yep.
Not terribly funny.
Well.
And I want Frank Cromer to know that I feel that way. There's no way to hold it back. I want him to know that I appreciate his effort and his animation.
Right.
And that he did that, and it's a first for the show. 7 years, hello. But seriously, Frank, get some writers. All right, let her rip.
I'm Frank Cromer, and I'd like to do my Larry King as a cartoon. One of the things I always do before every show is a coffee and peanut M&M enema. I use one of those twisty straws. It's a lot more fun. Big Bone Lick, Kentucky, you're on the air.
Some would say our next guest is a very talented actor. Some would be correct in saying that. Some would say he's a wonderful family man. Some would be correct. Some might also say he's a fan of the Dallas Cowboys, which is something that has never been said about a guest, and this is episode 260, because I'm from San Francisco and it's in my DNA to not allow, prior to this moment, a fan of the Dallas Cowboys. Please welcome Mr. Jay Ferguson. Jay!
Thank you.
So your earliest memory of your Dallas Cowboys would be?
First game, Thanksgiving 1980. Dallas played the Seattle Seahawks. Dad took me to the game. It was when it was still cold at those games. It's not like that anymore, but
You've got that roof.
had to have a blanket, had to have a thermos of soup that Mom made us.
What kind of soup?
God damn, I don't remember, Kev.
You could have just said chicken noodle.
Chicken noodle.
Okay.
And they won. And then a great little follow-up to that is 26-ish years later, I took my then 6-month-old baby boy to his first Cowboy game, which was the last Thanksgiving game at Texas Stadium, and they were playing the Seattle Seahawks.
Holy crap. Do you remember what the soup was that day?
We didn't have to have soup that day because climate change had already kicked in. Yeah.
So you had a beer.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Lots of those. And the baby right here.
Oh, man. Have the 3 sons,
3 sons.
my 3 sons,
Yeah.
have they grown to a age level where they've been to a game and enjoyed it? That's coming.
Yeah. Our oldest, I took him to a game a couple of years ago at the new stadium. He fell asleep.
Sure.
I took him on the field. I got field, passes and took him on the field and showing him. And I think he was just so overwhelmed with the whole spectacle of it all.
How old?
At the time, he was probably 5.
Wow.
But he fell asleep before the game even started. He asked how long until it was over. And I said, "We got a little while, buddy." And he went to sleep, but woke up. They were playing the was it that Steelers game? No, they were playing the Raiders. They were playing the Raiders on Thanksgiving, and they were actually losing the game, of course. And they came back though, and when they came back, the crowd got really into it, and it woke him up, and then he got into that part of football, the people going crazy and losing their minds, because they'd been quiet most of the game.
Sure.
Because we've been losing.
He'd basically given you his review of the game.
Yeah, I got
Falling
great pictures.
asleep.
I got great pictures of him asleep in the seats. Yeah.
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 Little jersey?
He's got a jersey.
Yeah.
You talking about me?
We're gonna have to compare trivia trophies, by the way.
Yes.
Oh.
Jay is claiming to be a member of the winningest trivia team in Los Angeles. So what's the name of the big roundup you guys got the
We
trophy?
play on a league called King Trivia.
Okay. Yep. I know King Trivia.
Yes.
So is it just the league that you guys have been to that has the awards that you own?
Yes.
now?
I've got one of those trophies, the little spinny thing. Do they still have those with the little brain on the inside?
No, it wasn't a brain. It looks almost like a bottle cap, because I think it's supposed to
okay.
be like a beer bottle cap
Oh,
now
right.
is their logo.
Uh-huh.
But yeah.
Okay.
So each one of those groups has their own.
Yeah, the place that we play,
Citywide
we used to play at a bar that did the King Trivia. Now we play at a place where the moderators come up with it themselves. So.
And there's
a lot of work for them.
There's not a name of like King
No, I
Trivia.
don't think there is an organization that they use. I think it's just they just kind of.
You guys went rogue.
Yeah. Well,
Nice.
they did. I mean, we just we started going there because we heard it was impossible to win there, and that was a challenge for us.
Mm-hmm.
The teams had stopped coming at the other bars that we played at because we won every week.
You got obnoxious.
And
it.
so we wanted a challenge, and we didn't win there for a long time. But then once we started winning, we didn't
What's your
stop.
team's name? I may have.
Yeah, it
known.
was,
Lawrence O'Trivia.
Lawrence O'Trivia. Nice.
and now you have to share yours with him.
We're Nickelback to the future.
Ah, nice.
Yeah.
I like it.
Do you have a favorite name from another group?
My favorite
Yes.
name of all time was Quiz Christofferson.
Nice.
But they have now become Benjamin Quiz Rayleigh. They switch it because they lost some members and then gained some new ones, so that's what they've become now. Another one I really liked was Double Downton Abbey. Because remember Double Down? Do you
Yeah.
still have the Double Down
Yeah.
ability in yours? Yeah.
Meg Ryan's former face is a good one. A new one that just started is Tronald Dump. Which
Like
I don't
it.
have a problem with.
Like it?
I'll think of some more.
I contributed once. I went once to the group, and the final.
It was the King Trivia would always do around the Who Am I round.
Yeah,
where it was,
we do the
okay.
Who Am I round.
Right.
It's the same. We do the same setup.
Oh, it's the same. It's the same
setup.
seven.
Yep.
Same seven
Yep.
rounds. Okay. So he got William Shatner on 10.
On 10?
From the first
Clue.
clue,
Yeah. Yeah,
you
which
got
it.
was Montreal, Russian immigrant, and a third one. And I said that was
Pretty
enough.
tough. We're pretty. We get the 10 pointers pretty regularly on the Who Am I's. We just got last week. It was Dolly Parton. And
How many in your group?
That's the other reason we started playing at this place, because we started acquiring a fairly regular group of like 10 people that wanted to play. And most places it's like 6, right? Did they have a limit at your place?
They don't limit anymore because there's this one team that shows up every week and they have like 10 people, and you're like, you need to cap it at some point.
Right. Yeah. And so we'll have, we have a little.
We have about 6 regulars, I would say.
Okay. Yeah, but that's why that's the other reason we started playing at this place, because at the time, a few years back, they had a limit, and so this was the only place that allowed us to have all of our people there. And it was challenging.
So with 10 people, there must be no subject that gets past you.
Well, there's some do sometimes. Yeah.
We definitely have, like, each person has their little.
We have we have specialties.
Yes.
Yeah.
What would you say is your area of weakness? And then, if you don't mind, we're going to move on.
My weakness is really everything. I don't really have a specialty. I kind of rely on everybody else. I mean,
Sports, you do.
well, sports. I'm good with sports and pop culture, but everybody's good with pop culture. But we've got a geography guy, we've got a literature guy,
Yeah.
and everybody chips in.
That's
Everybody always thinks of something,
Yeah.
You didn't ask, Kev, but my weakness is bread pudding.
with or without raisins.
Without.
Thank you
Let's get
very
real
much.
here.
Please tell me about mowing lawns at 7 a.m. preteen in the Texas heat while
God.
singing.
Somebody
"Fuck
did their
the
research.
police." While singing, I repeat, fuck the police.
Yes, that's right.
Preteen, you're 12 years old at 7 a.m.
It's not the normal thing that you'd expect to see a little white boy saying in a church community in Dallas, Texas.
While mowing lawns at 7 a.m.
That's right. Yeah. My parents, my dad, I had asked for the Straight Outta Compton album for my birthday that year, and not knowing, of course, like most parents didn't, he got it.
Didn't know what Compton
Didn't have
was?
no idea what any of it was.
Thought it sounded good that something or someone was coming straight out of it.
Yeah.
Wherever there was.
Inspirational.
Sure.
And so he got it, and I put it in my little Walkman, and I had to, you had to start mowing lawns in the summer at like 6 in the morning before you melted, and so that's how it went. It's the truth.
And did you enjoy the film? The recent film?
I did. It was good. It's good-ish.
Ish. As a biopic?
Yeah, I felt like it was maybe belonging more on a cable network or something, but I enjoyed it.
What
It was
was
fun
your-
to see how it all came together. I didn't really know all the specifics about how they all started and came together, and
The origin story.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was neat.
Also, as a kid, you used to go to old ghost towns and collect shit. I've never heard that of a person. I'm very curious about this. It sounds fantastic. First of all, where are there old ghost towns nearby?
I want to know where on the internet that information comes from, because I don't even remember telling anybody that.
Calico or Calico on the way to Vegas?
Yeah, there's
Yeah,
one on the way to
Calico.
Vegas.
Okay,
Yeah.
fine, but first of all, we're in Texas when this is happening.
No, that was out here.
Oh, was it?
That was out here, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that was, I have a
should
guy,
correct it.
it's kind of a surrogate father of mine out here growing up, and he got me really into ghost towns, and we would go on these ghost town trips where we would, we went to Bodie way up there. That's probably one of the more famous ones up near Mammoth, just a little north of Mammoth. But went all around on this ghost town trip one summer, and went to a bunch of places. Ended up, I think we got bored with it though, right around Northern California, and ended up going to Lake Tahoe so he could gamble and I could play video games. But it started out great, and I got a lot of cool shit.
Yeah. How beautiful is Lake Tahoe?
That was great.
Stunning.
First time there as a kid.
I've never been to a ghost town.
Yeah.
So I can't even picture what the hell it actually is, other than my brain conjures an old Western town.
It's
for some
kind of,
reason.
yeah, I mean, most of them, no. Most of them, everything is fallen down. You got your metal detector, you know, you got your little shovel, you're just kind of going around and looking at places.
Is there a guide?
And
Is there an admission
most
fee?
most of them are just you really have to know what you're doing. I mean, there's a lot of them aren't even on a map, you know, and some of them just come from word of mouth, and you go and you're literally on a big piece of property, or there's nobody around. Now places like Bodie, it's a national park. They have it's a thing. You got to pay a thing, and they've actually, kept the buildings up so that it still looks like it did, and that is more of a old westy type feeling, when you go there. But you're never finding any shit there because that place has been cleaned out.
And what kind of shit would you in fact find? You personally
really,
collected?
really fascinating stuff like bottle caps.
Sure.
And
No old
broken chips of glass.
crap. You can't get that anywhere.
I mean, it's really
Arrowhead?
fascinating. Yeah. No arrowheads.
No.
No arrowheads. No, we're not.
Give me something of interest.
We're not going around looking at old Native American ghost towns. These are old Western ghost towns.
How do you think they became ghost towns?
That's a good point. Good, possibly.
Indians came in
You know
there
what
and
you
cleaned
don't
up.
ever see, I'm guessing? Ghosts.
That's true. Well, we were
Or
never there at
Jews.
night, so you never know.
Or Jews.
Not a lot of Jews in ghost towns.
How about a Jewish ghost? Go.
Uncle Milty?
There we go. We were listening to, last night on the way home, a little Hank Azaria, Poker Rabbi.
Not even Abraham would play such a
My finest hour.
Now, what I also found out from the interwebs that I did not know, Jay Ferguson, is that your mother was an actress.
Yes.
And as a kid, what does that mean to you?
I
I mean, how old are you when you realize that's what's happening?
Pretty young. I mean, we moved out here when I was almost 7, and moved out here for her to further her career, which she had already started in Dallas and had done a really good job in Dallas. So I mean, even before we moved out here, I was already used to seeing her on television and in things.
And do you see that look in your own children's faces now?
It's just now starting to happen, especially with this new show that I'm doing, and now there's been all these, promotional stuff all over town on the sides of buses and things, and they
Dad,
think
you're on the
I've
bus.
gone around town and put those things up. And
Do they?
It's just me messing around with them. Yeah.
That's
It's
fantastic.
really funny.
What a great
Yeah.
perspective.
Yeah, it's really.
Dad, why would you put that thing on the side of the bus?
I know. It's great. But yeah, I didn't really. It never really was my thing, to be honest. It was, and it was certainly not forced on me.
So how do you end up wandering towards an audition
I was.
if it wasn't pushed on you or of interest?
I was. We were in. Dupar's.
Do I?
Of course, right? My mom and I were sitting in Dupar's one day, and somebody just came up and asked if I was asked my mom if I was an actor.
Your age?
11 or 12, probably.
So I'm going to guess a man approaches your mom.
Woman,
A woman approaches your mom, like the story better, less creepy,
right?
and says, "Your son, is he an actor?"
Right.
And your mom says,
No.
Don't be silly, get away."
Right. Pretty much. But she gave her a card or something anyway, and then going home, I mean, I don't really remember this part too much, but I must have expressed some sort of interest.
What was that about? You must have asked your mom.
Yeah, and she told me and asked me if I wanted to try it out, and I said sure. So I started going on auditions, and didn't get anything ever. And it became years that I had been auditioning and not gotten anything. And I was done with it. I was tired of it. I'd rather be doing other shit with my friends and driving all over town and traffic, and it just wasn't fun at all. I didn't enjoy any part of it. No part.
The part of the job of an actor being rejected, you have to go through that fire.
Sure.
As an adult, it's hard. You have to develop the ability to not take it personally.
Right.
I don't know how you do that as a 12-year-old.
I think that there definitely came a point where it felt personal, but it was a while. It wasn't until I started to want to do it, because in the beginning I don't even think I really wanted to. I was just kind of trying something.
Yeah.
And I went to this junior high school, this performing arts junior high school. And when I first started there, because I just started auditioning, so I thought, okay, I've got to go and try out for the drama club. That's where I've got to be. So I go and I try out for the drama club, and I get in the drama club. But I realize as we're doing, after school rehearsals and things, and we're staying longer, I see that across the way on the campus, all the hot girls are going to the dance production group, and not the drama production
Yeah,
group.
they are.
And I thought, well, that's where I should be. And
With the hot girls.
right, even though I had no right being in any dance, anything having to do with dance.
Or interest.
Yes, and so I left the drama production and went to dance production. And really, it was in the beginning just for the girls, and then I really started to fall in love with this new art form that I had never really experienced before. And this was kind of, coinciding with me losing interest in the auditions and I'm not into that anymore. This is interesting to me.
You're like 13, 14 years old at this point.
And then suddenly it became more about the actual class itself and not the girls, although that was still a bonus. And now at the same time, I'm still auditioning, losing interest. My poor mom, really all parents that will tolerate this crazy life of having a child that's an actor. You got to drive all over creation constantly. There's really nothing in it for you. I mean, of course you're rooting for your kid, but there's no instant payoff. You're
it's a
just
job.
Yeah, it really is, and I can't imagine doing it for my kids.
Right.
I mean, it's a real pain in the ass. So when your kid is not into it and you're doing all of that, then you get a little pissed off.
Sammy, you would
reasonably so.
take the train into the city for your auditions as a teenager?
No, my mother drove me
Right.
until I was old enough to drive myself.
Yeah.
But she and I had a nice system worked out, which you could get away with in New York, not so much LA.
System.
We had a good system because, life is easier when you have a system instead of just bumbling your fucking way through it, I guess. But we would find the building I was going into, she would drop me off, we'd pick either a fire hydrant or a corner, and she'd say, I'll circle or I'll stand. When you're done, come down, I'll meet you at that corner. So that way we never had to pay for parking.
Good
And
system.
she never had to go up into the room with me because I'm sure you remember your
Don't want
mom
that.
or dad having to sit there with you with all the other stage moms and dads and signing you in. Oh God,
Yeah.
that's torture.
Yeah. Yeah, it was.
There must have been some effort also to, when you show up to that, not only not wanting a parent there, but putting out the vibe of, I know what I'm doing.
Right.
I know what I'm doing.
When I clearly did not.
No.
Right.
Yeah.
And then, you get, or at least I was, knowing how much my mom had invested into, this for me, I was terrified to tell her I didn't want to do it anymore, And so I kind of felt like I wanted to tell her that for a long time, and was just about to. And I was going to, all of my friends from the dance production were going to go to this dance high school, and I decided I wanted to do that, and forget about all this acting bullshit. And I had an audition for The Outsiders, a television show, the continuation of the movie in TV form, which always goes well.
Was Coppola involved in the
He was.
TV?
He was, but I think only in name only. Yeah. I went up years later. I saw him somewhere, and I had never met him. And I went up to him, and I was so excited to introduce myself and have a little one-on-one with him. I told him who I was and I'd been in the show, and he just said, "Yeah," and then.
What a wonderful experience.
Yeah, it was good. It was a big payoff. So anyway, that last thing I said to myself and to my mom, I finally, got the courage to tell her that I wasn't into it anymore. But I liked the idea of this thing because every boy loved that movie, of course. And
The Outsiders audition would be your last.
well, no.
What was the plan?
Yeah. Oh, that was the plan. Correct. Yes. And I told her that. I said, if this doesn't work out, this is what I'm going to do. And then, it worked out.
It didn't just work out. Pony Boy was as I remember the movie, C. Thomas Howell, that's
Right.
kind of the lead in an
Yeah, it was-
ensemble of young
Yes,
men.
right, correct.
But he's the central character.
In a way, yeah, sure. It was very.
Who was your Mickey
Crazy.
Rourke in the TV adaptation?
No, Mickey Rourke wasn't in The Outsiders. He was in
Rumblefish.
Rumblefish,
Ah,
right.
fuck me.
But maybe Matt Dillon. You thinking of him?
Sure, that's the one.
He died in the movie.
He did die in the movie. So why would you need him in the TV show?
don't know.
You don't. You don't need that ghost wandering around. So you're
Outsiders, spoiler alert, by the way.
Right.
You're 15.
Sorry.
You're starring in a television pilot,
Yeah,
which becomes a short-lived series.
that's right.
What else are you starring in at 15? I mean, are you being asked to do other things? Is there interest? Because when you, no matter what the age, if you're suddenly starring in a television show, or agents and managers
Yeah, you get a little heat and.
and lawyers, oh my, all swooping in.
Oh
and-
yeah. There was a lot of that, and my mom, you know. I'll tell you a funny thing that happens all the time when I'll run into people that I worked with as a kid. The first thing they ask me is, "How's my mom?"
Oh, that's so
That's
great.
all they want to know about, because she was legendary.
Yeah.
I mean, she was. I wouldn't call her a stage mom, because I feel like that phrase has got kind of a negative
It
connotation
does.
to it.
And also, how many stage moms actually were an actress themselves?
Right. I mean, she was looking out for my well-being constantly. She wasn't like, a stage mom, I feel, is so
pushy and-
consumed with the fame and wanting their kid
Living
to be the best.
vicariously.
Yeah, no, that wasn't what she was. And so she was legendary, but she squashed all that shit out when it started happening, just to let them all know that this was not going to be that kind of situation. And
Back off.
yeah. But yeah, it was a just thrown right into the fire with that show. To go from complete anonymity,
Having never booked a job.
having never booked a thing, to suddenly this, and all the other things that came along with it, and it was a very jading experience at the same time.
And you're turning 16, you're getting said driver's license
Right.
while being a star of a new television
Mm-hmm.
show. What's happening to your head? Anything?
Well, what happened was, the show was just on for a few months, and then it was canned. So then suddenly all of that stuff was taken away from me. And any
They don't explain that.
any 15-year-old kid doesn't know how to mentally
Yeah.
handle that, and you don't understand. Wait a minute, is this all now gone forever? Is it coming back? Oh, of course it's going to come back. This is the way it always is going to be. And then, of course, that's not the case ever. And that wasn't the case with me either. Now, I will say I was lucky enough to hop right onto another show, but I had gone to the bottom of the totem pole on that show, comparatively speaking, from what the role I had on the other show.
Sure.
Right. So it was.
How soon after did you get on the other show? And that wasn't Evening
It
Shade.
was the next year. Yeah.
It was Evening Shade.
Yeah.
I'm going to need, originally I had any in all caps, bold, underlined,
Okay.
the word any. And then I replaced it with all caps, bold, underlined, every Burt Reynolds story you can muster. We've gone from any to every, but I will take just one.
There's a bunch, for
Sure.
sure. He's gotten a bad rap.
Well,
Through the years.
little backstory for anyone who might not know. The biggest movie star in the world for about 10 years,
Right.
which is almost unimaginable
Yeah.
these days to be that much of a standout. And I remember the transition when he won his first Golden Globe for Evening Shade. And I actually remember, for some reason, his acceptance speech saying, yeah, great, on a TV show. I used to be over there, movie people. I'm over here now. Yeah. And I remember thinking, you can't do both. He's a legendary movie star
Yeah.
who is being self-deprecating, but he's also saying, how did this happen?
Right. I'm here whenever you need me.
Right.
Right.
So what was that like as a place in his trajectory
Yeah.
to be working? Because
I don't think I was aware of any of that.
Okay.
I was oblivious to that.
And you were just
as far
too
as I
young.
was concerned, he loved being there and loved. I mean, it was, you know, he had essentially cast that whole show. I mean, except for me and the other actors that played the kids, you know, he had just called up his old buddies and said,
Charlie
"Hey,
Durning,
come have fun with me. Let's
Mary Lou
pretend."
Henner.
All of them, you know, Ossie Davis, and I think Michael Jeter was the only one he didn't know, but you know, Elizabeth Ashley and Charles Durning, and who else? Mary Lou and Hal Holbrook. I mean, you know.
Yeah. And
So-
eventually Billy Bob Thornton, didn't Billy do
Yeah, he did a you know what's funny about that is Billy Bob was on The Outsiders with me, and mom told Linda and Harry, who did Evening Shade, hey, you gotta meet this guy, he's from Arkansas. And so they gave him a little part on Evening Shade, and they loved him so much, then they put him in their next show
Right.
with Ritter, the Hearts of Fire.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
Nice little connection.
And that's how he met Ritter, by the way, who ended up being, you know, friend for life.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm responsible, essentially.
Well,
Mom is. But yeah, you know, it was a crazy time for me, that show.
And you were on that for like 4 years.
Yes.
So that wasn't a couple of months.
No.
That was a run.
Yes.
And
Real
now
run.
you're in that groove. And halfway through that groove, as a kid, you got to be thinking, oh, so well, this is what I'll do.
I was actually not happy about the situation.
What part?
The
Being stuck?
yeah, I felt like at the time anyway. I, of course, you know,
Come to appreciate
it's
gainful
I
employment?
wish I just could go back and smack my younger self.
Well, how old were you at this point? 17,
I
18?
was. It was 15 to 19.
So around 17, you're thinking, this is bullshit.
Yeah, I mean, I just felt like I wanted to be doing more, and I didn't get to do much on it. You know, there was a lot of mouths to feed on that show, and
Tough being sixth lead or whatever.
yeah, and then just. But of course now I just wish I would have just listened more, you know,
Sure.
and just observed and been a sponge, because I literally was a once in a lifetime opportunity to be around that many heavyweights
Yeah.
who were all masters of their craft. And I mean, Elizabeth Ashley, Tennessee Williams wrote Cat on a Hot Tin Roof for her.
That's insane.
You know, Charlie Durning. I mean,
War hero.
legend, and
dad
just
and
a
Tootsie.
great guy. That's right. Oh God, I'll never that shot where he comes out on the screen, and Durning is eating a sandwich, and he goes up to take a bite, and the sandwich falls out of his hand, and he goes to take a bite of the phantom sandwich. Genius, man. The guy was genius.
Yeah.
Everybody on it, and you know, I did. Luckily, I was able to retain some things, but
Right.
for the most part, I was just a kind of a little punk, and you know, was oblivious.
As most 17-year-olds
That's
are.
true.
Come
That's
on.
true. I don't take it too hard. I have since, by the way, tried to reach out to every person on that show that's still living and let them know how much they mean to me, because, you know, retrospectively looking back, it was such a rare opportunity.
Formative.
And very formative.
Yeah.
And I didn't even know it, you know, it was all subconscious. So,
And when you reached out to Burt,
Burt, I am actually in the process of getting in contact with, believe it or not. Yeah. So I have not spoken to him in a long time. But he was a great influence on me, and a great father figure, you know. It was, my mom and I were having some problems during those years, and he helped me out a lot with that, and gave me my first car.
what?
Yeah.
How about that's the story you want to share? Because I'm going to need to hear a little more.
So we were shooting our last episode of whatever season it was. I must have been 16 or 17 at the time. And he told me during that week, he said, you know what, you need a car. I'm going to give you your first car. And he said, I'm not going to tell you what it is. Your mom's probably not going to be too happy, but I'm going to give you your first car. So thrilled, mom, not thrilled. And so the day comes, we're getting ready to shoot, and he says, okay, we're gonna do it. And he makes a big spectacle out of it, brings everybody out, and he's got this walkie-talkie. He's like, all right, bring it around. And around the corner comes this car that I had seen many times because he had it there and people would be working on it. This 75 red Corvette from
Jesus.
From oh fuck,
Smoking the Bandit 6?
No. I want to say Gator, but I'm not sure if that was it. But it was from one of his movies. And
A red Corvette.
yeah, and it's like the one. It looked like, because it had an 81 front end on it. It was like a lower, so it looked like a Stingray essentially. And it was the T-top. You know, the T-tops come off and the old leather bucket seats, and yeah, it was.
Mom loved that.
It was insane, and that was, unfortunately, that car didn't make it too long. But
because
I had a lot of fun.
You.
Because of me. Yeah.
Drove one that into the ground there, did you?
Yeah.
But what a
little anticipating the old green light at the Sunset Gower intersection at about 2 in the morning.
I see.
Yeah, didn't work out.
No.
That was after I put a lot of money into it to fix it up too.
Oh, so all the work he had done, he was really saying, "Kid, take this car off my hands."
Kind of, yeah. That's right.
Pretty spectacular.
It actually did need a lot of work, but I didn't care. It was okay.
What? Also, my first car was a gift from Burt Reynolds. I mean,
Yeah.
you might have buried the lead.
Yeah,
That's fucking spectacular.
He was a very generous, giving person. I mean, listen, some of those people on that show weren't working at the time.
Right.
You know, I mean,
He called them all up and gave them a great job.
I mean,
That
who
is
does that?
pretty spectacular.
Not that many people. You know.
No. One of the segments on the show, Jay, is called Famous Questions. These are not questions that they themselves are famous, but rather from famous people. We have one for you from a co-star we have in common. Yep.
Oh boy.
I'm going to give you the question and then ask you if you can guess who it is. You were obsessed at one point with a game called Heads Up. This person says, I'm sure he's moved on to a different game now, but it would be hard to imagine him not playing Heads Up. Any downtime we had on the set, he would gather the cast to play. It was constant and funny. That would be...
John Slattery?
Nope.
No.
So you brought
really?
that game started at Mad Men.
Wait a minute.
This was post
Oh.
Mad Men.
Oh. What? Martha? Wait a minute. Why am I striking out with
So
this?
close, Martha. So now you do it on the new show as well.
Oh yeah, no, I'm all about the games all
Maggie
the time.
Lawson is the correct
Oh
answer.
shit! Yes.
Yeah.
Of course. Yes. That's right.
Come now.
Yes.
You love the Heads
great.
Up. Yeah.
I love the Heads Up. I'm kind of a little over it now. We're on to new things, but it's always good. I mean, it's always there.
Sure.
Yeah. I love Maggie so much.
She's a phenom. Yeah.
Just.
God rarely gives
root
with both
for her.
hands.
Yes.
Speaking of which, yeah, was John Hamm? Was he here before Summer and Gladys? Was he the first Mad Men guest?
I believe so, yeah.
So talk about God really gives with both hands. What the fuck? And funny. Not just handsome and talented and a swell fella.
I know, he's a real dick.
But and he tried so hard not to be handsome when he showed up here with a sweat-stained baseball cap.
Yeah, is that shitty Cardinals cap he wears everywhere, thinking he's fooling people.
I believe it was a jazz cap.
It
St. Louis
was.
Jazz.
Yeah, the rest of the time he wears the Cardinals hat. So let's jump to that moment when the agent or manager calls and says, "There's the show Mad Men. Do you watch it?" Because they were what, 3 seasons, 4 seasons in?
Yeah, I think I came on halfway through. Mm-hmm.
And you were a fan of the show or not so much?
I had not seen it.
You'd not seen the show?
Not seen it.
Heard about it?
Heard about it, of course.
Yeah.
Surely. I knew that there was a white-haired dude on it,
Sure.
and I knew there was a redheaded girl on it.
Right.
And that's about all I knew.
Really?
Yeah. I didn't know any of the actors' names. I didn't know Ham. I mean, I should have, but I didn't.
No, not necessarily.
And,
He sat here and said, well, we've met before, Kevin. We played 9 holes of golf. And that was a lot of fun for me. Because we were huge fans of the show. We dressed up, for fuck's sake. Didn't we dress up and out? And
We sure did.
Not
We wore
for
suits.
No, for John Hamm, I thought we did whenever it was Slattery.
Slattery we
Because
dressed up.
We got Slattery the day that that season was about to premiere.
Oh, that's right. So that's right. We dressed up because we were so excited to watch the new season. That's exactly right. So yeah, so you didn't know who anybody was. You get the script. You've heard about the show, of course. Does it start as a guest shot, recurring?
So, I actually enjoy telling this story.
Please.
We
finally got to a story you enjoy.
I love telling this story because it illustrates how little I know about pretty much everything, and most of all, this business. So, I had gone through a period where I'd gotten really big, right?
In the business.
In my body.
I see.
Yeah, in my clothes, and that pretty much took me out of the running for all the roles that I previously would have been up for, right?
The not tubby person.
Right. And so I was ready to throw in the towel and go do something else. My wife and I had just gotten married, and I love wine. I thought maybe we could move to wine country, and I'll go pick grapes if I have to. I don't care. I'll do whatever. But I'll enjoy my life on a daily basis, because right now I'm not.
To be clear, I jumped over at least 3 or 4 series where you were a regular.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So you said, I've had a hell of a run. What do I need this aggravation for?
Yeah.
But you also connected to the fact that you had gained weight?
Yeah. So
Well, this meant the phone was not ringing based on the previous counterparts.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. And I felt like if I was gonna throw in the towel, I had to give it the old college try, and at least see if it was even fun anymore, And in order to do that, in my mind, I felt like I had to get back to fighting weight. And so I went on this awful journey of working out and being healthy.
Awful because it's annoying and not fun.
Right. And got back into shape.
Why is J-Mac laughing at the awful journey of getting into shape? Yeah, he's in the journey now.
Yeah, we all are always, and so finally I got back down to where I wanted to be, and got the call to go and audition for Mad Men. Now, I had gone up on one audition for Mad Men a couple of years before that. And had waited. I have about like a 30-minute rule, right? I mean, did you ever have like a how long you'll wait before you're like, fuck it, I got to get out of here. I can't wait any longer.
Oh, when you're waiting to audition,
right?
In the outer office.
It depends on the project.
Sure, of course, yeah.
Yeah.
So
waiting there in that outer room is the fucking worst.
So I had.
Do they know I'm here?
Right.
I signed in. How many ahead of me? Oh God.
Yeah. But so I was there, and I have my 30-minute rule, right? Which I feel is a pretty generous amount of time. I mean, 30 minutes, you wait. Well, what good can you do at this point, But it was just like you said. It was a project-to-project basis, and this was Mad Men. I knew it was a big show, so I waited 45 minutes, an hour, hour 15.
Mayday.
And there's still a big hallway full of dudes ahead of me.
Ahead of you?
Yeah. So out walks this little man, really sharply dressed, out of the audition room, and kind of hurriedly, goes down the hall and into the stairwell, and he's gone. And then the casting director comes out and goes, "We're so sorry. Our executive producer had to go down to the set because they're having an issue down there, but he'll be back up shortly. So just be patient." And I said, "Fuck that, I'm out of here." And I left. Now, later I'd find out that little man that hurried past me was Matt Weiner, and I didn't know it at the time. Probably, wasn't supposed to get that part, because had I, then, what happened down the line wouldn't have happened. But the setup is, that place is an awful place to go to audition. It's, you came to visit us sometimes. It was the LA Center Studios, the worst fucking place, right? Just a nightmare to get to from no matter where you're coming from.
Which, by the way, Shipka surprised the fuck out of me by saying no one ever visited the show.
Right.
Either they weren't allowed or something, but they
I don't think they minded, as long as they,
she
got
just
a background check.
She was like, "You visited twice." No one ever was.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it was people came down, but it was just especially living in the valley, getting there is a bummer. So I would try to find any reason I could anytime I had an audition down there for anything to get out of it.
Yeah.
Just to avoid the drive, which is so dumb and so stupid.
Yes,
and just
it is,
so
Jay.
pretentious. But at the time, this was where my head was fucked up. And so the audition came in for this new thing on Mad Men. This is a couple years later. I'd gotten back into shape, and I was really proud of myself. And the only description for the character when I got the sides was Stan, and then in parentheses, big. And I called up my guy and I said, they probably haven't seen me in a while to know that I'm not big anymore. Plus the fact that I don't want to drive downtown. Plus the fact that I know I'll probably be waiting an hour. All of those things combined, I don't feel like this is for me. And
guest star.
He said, please, it was going to be, I think at that point it was defined as a recurring, but it was only going to, it did have an end point. I mean, they did say it was only going to be 3 or 4, something like that. Right. But I told my guy, I said, listen, I know what this is going to, he was a huge fan of the show. So he's begging me, please, you gotta go down there. I said, listen, I know what's going to happen. I'm going to walk in there and it's going to be me and a bunch of 6'4", 350-pound offensive linemen and me. And it's going to be a waste of time, everybody's time. And he begged me. I said, fine, I'll go. So I went down there. I walk in the hallway. Come around the corner, and it's a hallway full of guys that are 6'5", 6'4", and 400 pounds, and me. And
which I don't understand for Stan.
Yeah.
Other than the fact that I realize also, you're Stan. That's why I don't picture
right.
the 6'4", 300 pounder, because I only know you as that character.
Well, and I thought,
But as a writer, why do we need a giant big guy?
I don't know. Well, later on, the guy, Brett, was one of our writers. I went up to Brett and I'm like, at the rap party, I said, hey, I've always been curious, why did it say big? I know you guys wanted a big guy, right? And he was trying to be nice. He said, no, we meant personality.
They might have.
No, they did not. They didn't. I'm telling you. I walk in there, and the hallway's filled with a football team. Okay. It was definitely size. It was not personality. Right. He was trying to be nice.
It would be funny though that all the agents got it wrong, and
that would be funny.
And sent their giant client.
Right. I mean Matt.
We meant Charles Nelson Riley big.
He was a good friend of Evening Shade, by the way. He directed a lot of episodes.
He must have.
Yeah. He was a fun cat for sure.
Anything better than Alec Baldwin's impersonation of Charles Nelson Riley? I think it was. Oh, la, 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 la. That was it. That was the whole impression. That's all it was.
He was great.
So you get in there and is Matt in the room when you audition?
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I'd gone in a suit and tie because they always told you when you go to audition for Mad Men you got to wear a suit and tie. I walk in the room and Matt goes, take off the jacket, loosen the tie. So already I was off my game.
Sure. This is not how I did it in my mind.
And
why aren't you bigger?
Yeah. and then it went okay. But the guy that had been in there before me had been in there for like 45 minutes.
Jesus.
And the dude that was after me, both of them like 2 feet taller than me, by the way. The guy that was after me, I said, doesn't look good for us, That's kind of it, right? And then I went in there and I was only in for like 10 minutes. I thought, there we go. I was right. Waste of time. And, that was not the case.
When does the call come? Days?
It wasn't too long, I think. Yeah, a couple days.
Right. Okay, so you get in there, you get in the wardrobe. I'm always curious about first episodes because, the first day at school, the first day on the job.
Totally terrified.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Did you quickly start watching episodes?
No.
So still don't really know the world other than what's in the script.
It was a running joke for some of the cast members to make fun of me because I'd never caught up.
So Ham would say he plays Roger.
I think Aaron
Sterling.
Staten and Lizzie gave me the most shit for it.
Yeah. And according to research, you and Lizzie became good pals.
Yes.
Yeah. Which is helpful, spoiler alert, at some point. Dear Lord. I imagine that was helpful. So, when does it be? Oh, I'm getting multiple signals from my stage director that I've got to read some mid-roll copy. Would you like a restroom break or to get some more water?
I'll get some more water, sure.
Yeah. Kenyon, can we get some water, please? I do want to thank the fine folks at Harry's. You're surrounded by beards here on the show, but don't think that those of us with beards aren't also doing some shaving, because you got to keep this trim, folks. You don't just let it grow like Grizzly Adams. I do use the Harry's, and I'm excited to tell you about this. Everybody knows good things come in a set of threes. Sammy, it's the rule of comedy.
Absolutely.
Everything in threes.
That third razor is always the funniest.
What? Boom! What does that have to do with anything, you might ask? Well, get this. March, third month of the year, just saying, reporting the facts, also happens to be our friends over at Harry's 3-year anniversary as a business. If you're new to Harry's, I've got a special deal for you to try 3 of their expertly crafted 5-blade German razors, a handle shave cream for just $10 with the offer code Kevin. I do enjoy going by the drugstore and seeing that cage that the razors are locked up in, and thanking Harry's for sponsoring the show and turning me onto it. So let me turn you onto it, how it works. They send you the stuff. You're not going to the store. You're not waiting for some guy with a key to allow you to overpay for razors. It's kind of bitchin' and amazing. Harry's is the only shaving company that has both amazing quality and low prices. It's true. They're German engineered. Yeah, that's right. German engineered. 5-blade cartridges, close, comfortable shave, no cuts or burn. Quality guaranteed. Guaranteed. How guaranteed? How about full refund, you son of a bitch, if you're not happy? Factory direct prices, cut out the middleman, ships right to your door. Sell their blades half the price of the leading brand. Over 1 million fellas just like you. All right, ladies too. I've already made the switch, thousands more every day. Why pay $32? That's the average price for a pack of 8. You can get them half price and delivered to your house, harrys.com. Harry's is the discount place. Harry will give you $5 off your first order with promo code Kevin. Stop overpaying, get a great shave, go to harrys.com right now, you son of a bitch! Are you shopping for a mattress? Today's sponsor, also Casper Mattresses. We're so happy to have Casper on the show. I've been listening to them on other podcasts. Oh, yes, I have. And I enjoy the ads, so let me see if I can do one of my own and do them proud. Get a risk-free trial and return policy. Their return policy is kind of amazing. Folks, again, it's less expensive and easy delivery of a mattress. Mattress is one of those things where they just got you by the short hairs, don't they? You go in there, you lie in a bed in a store for a minute, and you think, do I really know this is going to be comfortable later? Casper allows you to enjoy the bed for 100 days. 100 days before you say, no, not for me. And they'll ship it right back. 100 days trial. It is one of the things I do hate about having to get a new mattress is you go to the store, you don't know what's good, you're rolling around, you're there in a minute, you're lying down. All right, lie next to me because I got to know what it's like with both of us here. All right, get the cat too. Would you bring the cat? $500 for a twin mattress, $950 for a king. The prices are ridiculous. Compare that to the industry average, you son of a bitch. Get $50 off towards any mattress purchased by going to Casper.com/Kevin. That's promo code Kevin again. Terms and conditions apply.
What would Boss Vic Koss say about this mattress?
Boss Vic Koss from that thing you do. A lot of people think he was a DJ, sponsored that first big rock and roll show that the Oneaters played at. But no, he was a mattress king. How you sleeping? Was one of his lines. Thank you, Jamie, for that. She's there to either make fun of me or make fun of me by making me talk about a movie I was in.
I love that movie.
Yes, you do.
It's well known.
Thomas
love
Everett
them.
Scott in a recent dream. We'll get to that right after this. I do love Casper Mattress, and I do thank them very much for being a sponsor on the show. Go to Casper.com/Kevin. Get yourself some money off on a great mattress. That, again, 100-day trial.
Is that Casper with a C or a K?
C.
Casper, like the ghost.
Like the
From
ghost of
Ghost
Richie Rich.
Town, the ghost of Richie Rich. Casper.com/Kevin. Thank you, Sammy, for asking.
The ghost of your sleepless nights, thanks to Casper.com.
There we have it. There's your button. Jamie, you want to talk quickly about Tom Everett Scott in your dream?
It's not. It's just. It's quickly. My friends. No, my friends bought in my dream. My friends bought a house, and then they're like, we couldn't quite afford it, so we have to rent out a room, and they rented out the room to Tom Everett Scott.
A former
then
guest on the
became-
show played poker in our house, for fuck's sake. But no, he's in your dream as a renter from a room of your friend's house.
In her dream, things haven't been going so well for Tom.
But then he was hanging. But then he became like in our group of friends, and he was like hanging out with us.
Hey, guys.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, it worked out okay.
Back to Mad Men, if you don't mind. So,
I just want to say I auditioned for that movie with like 104 fever.
Casper the Friendly Ghost?
Yes.
No,
Steve
the
Zahn
Macaulay
role?
Culkin, Richie Rich.
No, the Tom Everett Scott role.
The Tom Everett Scott
I went
role.
in and met Hanks and I played around, but I was so fucking sick.
Right.
But I had to go.
nor did you know that he wanted to hire someone who kind of looked like him.
Yeah, right.
Right.
Yeah, I remember it not going so well.
But he's ridiculous.
I was incredibly ill, but also very nervous and did not do a good performance. I think he stopped me in the middle of it, maybe even.
And asked, what are you doing? Are you feeling
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah. Yeah. I think he was concerned.
Yeah. Yes. So, at what point does a question I was about to ask before evil Dr. Chen was waving at me frantically. At what point does recurring with an ends point, how do you get that news? And please don't tell me it was just an agent saying they've pinned you for next week as well.
Oh, no. It was much more exciting than that. Not too much more, but a little bit more.
Does it come from Matt?
No. It was my folks.
Weird call to get from your parents, but okay.
Yeah, but I let them handle, listen, you're in the best hands. It's weird to get those calls from them, but yeah.
Listen, son, we feel it's time that you became a regular on the show.
I agree.
Yeah.
I had actually gotten a film directly, without a doubt, because of Mad Men. So I was up for this film right when my episode started airing, and there's no doubt in my mind that that's what pushed it over the edge for me. And so here I am, incredibly grateful to have had the little time that I had on the show. I
Which
figured
was at that point 4 episodes?
Yeah, something like that, 3 or 4, and then I figured, by the end of that was the end of that season, and I wasn't dead or fired, so maybe they'll bring me back for a couple more, was kind of, where my head was. And then I got this film because of the show, so I was just so grateful, and it was a very transformative period for me in that first year, because I really started to feel like I was, for the first time ever, really part of something very special,
Still
And-
not watching.
No.
Still refusing to watch.
No. Oh no, I watched when I was on.
Okay. Did you know who any of the characters were?
No.
Okay. Have you since watched the pilot, arguably the best pilot ever made?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Just not the other
Nope.
episodes after that. But yes, I've seen the pilot. But anyway, I was just becoming, which was thankfully this was happening because I was starting to have children, and this is what you want to pass on, these kind of qualities. But I was starting to become very grateful and humble, for the first time, and I loved that feeling. I'd never really felt it on that level before, and I just felt so lucky and blessed, and I'd given this business every opportunity to chew me up and spit me out a million times over, and I just, for whatever reason, was allowed to stick around long enough to land on something like that, and it just changed everything forever. And then it wasn't not only career and all of that, that's great, but on a much more of a cellular level, it had a profound impact on my life. And so here I am doing this film in New Orleans. We have one child at this point. My wife is pregnant with our twins. And so obviously, you know, security is a big thing, and needing to provide is a huge thing. And I'm out there shooting this thing that I'm already grateful to have gotten because of the show. And then I got the phone call that they were making me a regular. So it was just a...
While on location in New Orleans,
Yeah.
the phone rings saying they'd like to make you a regular.
Yeah. And
The passwords are job security.
it was, well, the funny thing was, I mean, it wasn't too funny, and everybody had to deal with this on the show, of course. But they knew what they had. Lionsgate knew what kind of gift they were giving to actors by allowing them to be on the show.
Consequently.
And so because of that, they knew that they could rob every one of them.
Underpay.
Very much so, yeah.
Uh-huh.
And so you know how it is. You work your whole career to get to a certain number, whatever that number is.
Those of you at home, it's called a quote. They
That's right.
rarely work, but when they do,
It's nice.
you've earned it.
Right. And so you work your career to get to a certain quote, and then you go on a show like that, and I mean, I was at the bottom of the totem pole. I'm sure people were making a little bit more than me in other places, but for the most part, everybody had the same experience, and I was making less than half of the quote.
Yeah.
Which was crazy to me, but it didn't matter.
A couple years ago, I went through recurring on a show. I ended up doing 15 episodes for a third of my salary because they kept calling it recurring.
Right.
And I thought, I feel good. I love doing the show, but I also feel just kind of dissed and underappreciated.
Yeah, a little sore in the behind. Yeah.
What the fuck?
Mm-hmm. Well, I probably would have felt that way too had it had not been that show.
Yes.
So everybody was willing to bend over, because people
It took Hammy years to get paid on that fucking show.
Oh yeah, and I mean, even in the end, he wasn't getting paid what he would have been paid had that been a show on another network or broadcast or whatever. I mean, for God's sakes, what was it? Charlie Sheen was making almost $2 million an episode or something on that show.
And deserving every
penny, every penny.
Crow's Nest just doles it out very carefully. Really know you've hit it sweet.
Yeah. Yep.
So yes.
So anyway,
on that show, you do realize, quote aside, that aside, you're part of something insanely special.
Part of something insanely special, and you hope something that will lead to other things, which I had already personally experienced. I mean, almost immediately it happened for me in terms of the residual byproduct effect of being on the show, having a positive outcome on my career and giving me all these new opportunities.
Yeah.
Where I would walk into a room before and, people were probably not their nicest. And now it was all of a sudden they were on their best behavior. Like I somehow commanded this respect that I don't think I deserved or had warranted. But the show was just held in such a high regard that it was great when I would go and audition then, because my nerves were set at ease when I'd walk in, from all of the accolades and the,
Sure.
recognizing me from the show. And, I mean, it helped me out in that respect too, which I hadn't even really thought about until just now.
A great part is that you were present for it and were able to appreciate what was happening because you had been through enough.
Yeah.
That's the hardest part, is to look back on a life-changing experience like that and realize I was actually there for that. Mm-hmm. Which is so rarely the case, as you were saying about Evening Shade.
Right.
As a child,
mm-hmm.
Even with a brand new red Corvette. So,
well,
first few times being recognized from the show on the street, because people do have, when it's a television show in particular, you're in their home, even though that's more so with movies now than it was. There is a familiarity and a sense of, we have a thing in common. Mm-hmm. You're on that show I watch. So, we're pals.
Right.
Yeah. You'd already had a piece of that from other shows.
A little bit over the years. I mean, usually it was just you're that guy. I know you. What's your resume again? And you know.
M. Emmett Walsh. I found out today. Sam was telling me has like a resume printed out on a card in tiny font.
It's like 6-point font. It's a full page. He keeps it folded up. And if you stop Emmett Walsh on the street to say, hey, what did I see you in? He pulls one out and he hands it to you and says, this is a gift, but you can't open it while I'm here. And then he walks away and you open it and you go, oh, I guess that was it.
Oh, that's fantastic.
He has a card. He has a character actor trading card.
He does have a trading card in the character actor baseball cards that have been printed. So Mad Men is a different beast altogether. And I mean, we're about as, whatever the term is, nerdy or gay for the show as you could possibly be.
Mm-hmm. It wasn't until the beard happened that I started getting really, noticed on a regular basis.
Then we must in fact talk about that transition.
Okay.
Whose idea?
Well, probably Matt's. I mean, everything was, for the most part, and they had called all of the guys on the show during our hiatus and said, don't cut your hair, don't shave, to everybody. And so,
Ham had already woken up with a 10 o'clock shadow.
He could grow it by the end of the day. And so we all showed up for these hair and makeup tests, and they went down the line, and little things on one person. I think Slattery had a mustache, but then they ended up not even using that until the very end.
Right.
And then some sideburns on this guy or that guy, or a mustache on the.
Rich Summer, I think, was sporting some sideburns.
Yeah, he had some. Oh yeah,
he had an LA
some good
cut.
Chops.
LA cut.
Yeah,
sure.
God, he had some fantastic wardrobe in those last couple of seasons. Man, those short shorts when they went to LA. He's getting out in the Mustang. Oh man, I don't know. They just said you're gonna have that. So I said okay.
Yeah.
I didn't even know I could grow a fucking beard. Honestly, I mean, who lets it grow that long ever?
Right.
I mean, if you're working, you can't.
Nope.
And I mean, I had tried to grow one years before that, just purely out of depression.
Sure. Just out of the lack of strength to
it was
mow
like
that lawn.
One of those I'm ready to get out of this business moments, But it never, it never got to that, and it made me discover that that's how I want to be when I'm not working.
Full blownsies.
Yeah, it's just so easy, and I became so.
Has this in fact happened since you finished shooting the first 13 of?
No, it did happen, and it was much bigger than this, and I had a gig that I had to go do, so I had to shave it for that.
Right.
But that was a few weeks ago, and then.
So when not working, it's just your full blownsies in a matter of weeks.
Yeah. I think so.
Yeah. Well, we're also living in a time where it couldn't be more all the rage.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Dear Lord, if I see one more short hair, long beard guy in a commercial,
you're right.
I'm going to kill somebody.
Yeah, there's this golfer. That was why I watch golf, and
now you know it, folks.
There's this golfer. I think his name's Graham DeLette, and God, I wish I should bring up a picture and show you. This guy's beard is down to here.
Graham DeLette?
I think it's Graham DeLette.
J-Mac, can you go searching for us, please,
Is
and
it
pop that up
Graham?
for the folks?
It might not be Graham. I might be wrong on that. It might be a different first name.
Just type in long beard golfer.
Yeah,
I'm sure
I mean, this thing is amazing. It's glorious, and you wonder how he swings and keeps his thing on plane, and how this doesn't. They were showing his swing in slow motion yesterday, and his arm. I mean, his beard is just. It's like, you remember Kimbo Slice, the fighter, and that fucking beard he had? I mean, it's like that. It's like that, but on a white dude. And it's amazing.
A white dude golfer.
Yeah, you just don't see that on the PGA Tour.
As long as we're talking about beards, you guys know the irony of ZZ Top, right?
Please share.
That the drummer's name is Mike Beard.
Frank
right?
Beard.
Right.
No beard.
No beard, right. Mustache.
Just a mustache.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, Bick offered the lead singers Dusty
Gibbons?
Billy Gibbons, and Rusty Bott. I don't remember his
Right.
name. Bick offered them $1 million to shave their beards for a Bick ad. They said
Oh no.
They said no.
Hey man.
You take your $1 million, you give it to somebody else. Give it to that golfer guy. He'll do it, and he wouldn't.
Well, the golfer guy won't do it either. Apparently, it looks like he's been growing his for 2 years.
Let's talk about the growing beard and the relationship of the sense you've had before on a 4-year run of a show to, yeah, you're on the greatest show and you're being underpaid like everyone else. The prestige that comes with this one is more than making up the slack. But you're on this show and you're present, but because there are a lot of mouths to feed it, to quote you, in this cast also, are there times of frustration?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
No way.
Well, that's great to hear.
Yeah.
Because it can happen to the best of us.
Oh man. Well, I had, I guess in a way I probably did call back on my Evening Shade experience, maybe subconsciously, because I remember, of course I wanted to befriend everybody and get along with everybody, but I just in that first handful of episodes that I did before I was a regular, I just tried to keep my fucking head down, mouth shut, and just try to do my job.
Right, but 2 seasons in.
2 seasons in, it was a much different story, of course.
What was that story?
That story was I was, really good friends with everybody there, and we had a fucking blast together, and on and off the set, and playing games, and hanging out socially, and getting to pretend in that world together, and it was just an amazing experience. Yeah.
Any efforts ever or interest for dialogue suggestion?
No.
It's just known pretty early on that's not what this show is.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which was another wonderfully liberating thing for me as an actor.
Once you know that's taken off the table completely.
Yeah. Well, not only that, but really, for the most part, any and all choices were taken off the table. I mean, the writing was so specific that there really didn't leave much room for too much discovery to happen. I mean, it was all pretty well laid out.
Yeah.
So you didn't really even feel the desire to do that.
Right. Yeah, every episode, every character, so specific.
Right.
Jamie, a Mad Men question, if you would. I gave you
I was thinking about it.
Yeah.
And I don't even know if you could possibly answer this, but when, did you realize that your character, or when did you have to start, playing him differently because you knew that he was eventually going to fall in love with Peggy?
Never.
Never.
They never told us.
Yeah, because I was curious, because I'm assuming probably never.
Right.
So I was just curious, if you would have to, you started playing the character differently, started longing for her or something.
I think, well now, okay, so full disclosure, I think that in the last half of the last season, that second chunk,
It was 6 and 7 or 7 and 7?
7 and 7.
7 and
yeah.
7.
I had a pretty good idea. I mean, it was just a feeling. I mean, it felt like that's where it was going, but at the same time, we were so used to seeing things written on the wall and then, a 180 on purpose.
Yeah.
Just as a
And also,
red
there
herring.
was such a strong connection between the Peggy and Stan characters that for some there was a desire for it to go further, but for I would say
because you can even look back to whenever she was hanging out with Zosha Mamet's character, and how Stan would tease her and stuff. You can even say there may have been a little bit of it in that.
Yes.
But obviously you didn't know that.
You must have made
early
some
on.
choices as an actor to drop in a little.
Well, I
some of the research suggests.
Yes, there was a little bit of that. I mean, my first day there, I pulled Matt aside and I said, okay, so obviously these two are going to end up together. This was my first day.
You regret using the word obvious?
Yes. It's so funny that you say that because every person I've told that knows Matt.
Yeah. And that's how you want to start that's your qualifier when talking to Matt Weiner. Obviously, and then he's not even listening anymore.
Oh God.
He's not hearing anything else you say.
Oh well, I learned real quick.
Yeah.
So I said, obviously these two are going to end up together, right? And he's like, no. No, you couldn't be more wrong.
Because you used the word obviously.
Right. And, well, no, in his defense, I don't think he thought that then either.
Right.
I don't think I was brought on to be that guy.
Yeah, there's no way.
No, and I've actually, well, yeah. But for me, even though he told me that was never going to happen and that was not in the cards, I did whenever I had an opportunity to, which was seldom in terms of like making a choice or trying to put a little nuance in there.
I seem to recall a look in the elevator. A knowing
that
look.
was towards the end, though. I
Yeah.
think that was towards the end.
Yeah.
Then I was laying it on a little bit
Sure.
thicker. But in the beginning, it was just little things here and there. That if down the road they ended up going that direction, you could maybe then look back and see that there was a little something
And
happening.
also, just as an actor who's enjoying the existing relationship between these two characters, why wouldn't you want to throw in a nuance here and there
Yeah.
to just deepen the connection between these two
Sure.
characters?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, even when they were still saying it was not going to happen, which I believe them that they didn't think it was going to, even into the sixth season. Now I think Matt's told me since then that was like halfway through that season that he made the decision. That he was convinced, actually, which that didn't happen very often either. But he was evidently, supposedly, as the story goes, the writers convinced him to take it that direction.
When you
And-
say convinced doesn't happen often, you mean convinced by someone else to do something he hadn't thought of.
Right.
Okay.
Yes. And
It does seem like Matt's world,
it is.
as it should be.
It totally should be.
And all the actors that from the show that have been on this show speak about a man with a vision and an insane above average ability to execute.
I wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah.
I mean, it was because of that
Yeah.
that I had the experience that I had.
Right. And what a relief, by the way. Oh,
Oh.
God, someone who actually knows what the fuck they're
Yes.
doing. Oh, thank God.
Yeah. And I mean everything. I mean down to the little
Type of shoes.
minute
Socks.
details. Yeah. I heard a story from the very beginning that in the old Sterling Cooper offices where it was a big room of the women working on the typewriters, and he was walking by one of their desks, just a random desk. And all of the desks had the little, while you were away notes all over them, and various random papers and things. And all of them had something legitimately written on them, like, in times in this business where you have that and you look and it's just a bunch of fucking gibberish that,
Yeah.
not even words.
Yeah.
This was specific notes, specific letters.
And do you think that was because in
regarding-
case the camera catches it or
I-
for each and every actor?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Because I know it wasn't for the camera because it's not possible to see this stuff.
Right.
He picked a post-it or one of those while you're away things from the bottom of the pile of the notes, and he pulled the prop guy aside and he said, "This needs to be in black. This is blue ballpoint, and they didn't have blue ballpoint. This needs to be black fountain." And that's wonderful, isn't it?
Get out there, Kenny. Figure that out.
Yeah, this theater
It's the bonus of being next to a
is
parking
adjacent
garage.
to a parking garage.
All right. Good work, Kenny.
Acoustics.
Thanks, Kenny.
work. That was quick.
It's got to be black fountain, can't be.
It's got to be black fountain, and so
that's
here we
sort
are,
of
and
attention to detail.
Yeah, and I mean, this is on a desk
That the camera's
of
never
a
gonna
background
see.
actor that nobody's ever going to see, and underneath a pile of other papers, mind you. So
One could
Yes,
make
love
the
the attention.
argument slightly obsessive as part of the execution of the vision.
I suppose, but I guess in this instant it was a positive.
And again, why not? Why
know?
why would we not encourage this?
I don't know.
Yeah, I would want that sort of interest, passion, enthusiasm.
It
for him
certainly-
to be that excited still season 6, 7 would have you.
Oh, sure.
Yeah,
I mean, where every person needs to be standing.
Yeah.
What piece of furniture needs to be where? I mean,
Is there any way to stop Rich Sommer from his game board obsession?
no.
Okay. Just
Never.
wanted to throw that out there. See if it was still.
He's in a play right now with Ed Harris in New York.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
A play called We're Going to New York. What's the play called?
I don't know.
Well, we can look it up.
Yes, you can.
Yes, we can.
It's on until April, I think.
That's when we're going.
Yeah.
So perfect. We'll miss that.
Yeah.
Did you do any of the theater yourself?
I've done 2 productions out here. My first one was
One of the
in
greatest theater cities, arguably in the world.
my first. That was actually the first time that I had my first significant transformation, moving from a young actor to being a more responsible adult, focused, committed to the work and the preparation and all of that. I met this guy who's still a very dear friend of mine. His name's Gulu, and Gulu is from Brazil. And when he first moved out here, when we did this first play in 2001, he barely spoke a lick of English, and so it was a very interesting way to work. And we
He
did
had phonetically memorized the.
He had his wife, who's also a good friend of mine, Clara. She was the translator, and the funny thing is that she couldn't speak Brazilian, but somehow they had this way, and she was French. So there was just a fascinating dynamic to watch happen, and then to watch him try and direct us, it was even funnier. Fuck us, he used to say, fuck us.
And he meant.
Focus.
Sure.
Yeah, fuck us. And
That's helpful.
And then we'd all laugh, and he didn't know why we were laughing.
Nope.
But that was he had a incredibly important impact upon me at that particular point in my life, and changed me forever. Probably was the most important acting class that I ever had, and learned more and gained more from him than I ever had with anybody ever before.
Dear Lord.
It was a really incredible experience. Then we did another one a couple of years later, and that one was not as much fun, unfortunately.
Because?
First one was a comedy, second one was a long drama, and it just wasn't as fun. So we have not done one since, and that was the last one was in 2003, I think.
Oh,
but
wow.
I'd love to do a revival. I've told him I'd love to do a revival of the first one we did. I'd do that again in a heartbeat.
Oh, the
it was
comedy.
Fado Farce. It was Fleener, one of the most famous. I'm sure you've seen it.
Nope.
Yeah, yes, you have. It's a lot of door slamming characters coming in and out and mistaken identities. And,
Okay, yes.
that old bag.
The British door slamming comedy?
Yeah,
Yeah. That I've seen.
It was a lot of fun, and very rewarding. I loved it.
So the idea of doing theater,
No,
no.
I just told my folks.
Sure, your peeps.
Yeah, that I would like to.
Can we say you're Jews? Are you comfortable with that?
One of them? Question mark? I think.
Really?
I think.
You may not be in show business.
Well, he's Australian, so it's tough.
No Australian Jews. Not allowed.
I think he's half. I think he is.
He's a halfer?
I think he's half.
That'll do.
Australian for circumcision. I don't know what that Foster's
Nope.
commercial would be.
It was Sandler, the Hanukkah song. Not too shabby.
Po Buddy's Nerf.
The Hanukkah song, Not Too Shabby.
Not too shabby.
Not too shabby. What was I saying?
Your peeps called you about doing some theater.
I called them and I said, listen, I would like to maybe next year do this if an opportunity presents itself, because I'm terrified of it and I want to do something that I'm terrified of. I mean, I would almost throw up every night before we went on, and it was kind of a oddly like a masochistic.
Yeah, a little bit.
I enjoyed it, you know.
I
was equally terrified at the same time.
Well, that thing about being afraid when you've been at it for as long as you have is one of the most exciting and promising endeavors to look into what do I want to do, for sure.
Yeah.
You've been a producer on a couple of films, a short film, both short films, one short film.
Yeah.
January Jones was in a production film.
Yeah, technically.
You just helped a friend make a film.
I was part of a production company for a short amount of time, and they produced that movie.
Right. So and you mentioned directing something for the NFL Network. This is now an area of interest for you.
Oh, totally. Yeah, I'm trying to trick them into letting me direct one of our shows next year if we should happen to get another go at it. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, definitely. I've always had that interest. It's just, you got to have your shit together, and I had not had my shit together for a very long time. So it's something I always thought I'd like to do, but
I put it off forever and finally did it, and also I just knew I'm not a control freak on the giant scale of I need to be the most important person on the set every day, all day, the one person everyone goes to for an answer on everything. It just seemed beyond daunting. But they're all creative, as it turns out. And they tap into resources and instincts that you've been building your whole life.
Right.
And they become challenging and riveting on a daily basis. And then I remember being talking to a friend who was an actor who was directing, and you guys are going home. Yeah, I'm gonna be here finishing this insert shot. And then he acted on something. He went, I just acted in something again, and it was so fucking boring. And I realized, oh right, because when you're directing every week, you're like the crew now in the sense that you're working all day, every day,
right,
on everything.
Right.
Yeah, so it's scary and challenging.
Yeah.
And
I think you actually one of the times you came down to visit us, wasn't it when Slattery was directing?
Yeah.
Who was just the best.
It was right. Jamie Slattery was directing, I think, the second time he went to visit. When we sat with...
I believe so.
We sat with the wonderful British actor whose name I'm now spacing.
Jared Harris.
Jared Harris.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wonderful human
We sat
being.
with him and had lunch. Yeah, tremendous beyond belief.
Yeah.
I have another famous question for you.
Okay.
Let's see if you do
Again
as well
from
with this
a
one.
mutual.
Someone you've worked with.
Okay.
Where are you getting? Who is your favorite actor who has played your father? If necessary, to give more information, who is your favorite actor who has played your father on a little-known show for the CW that was canceled? That was canceled after 8 episodes. Did you watch Justified at all? Because he was so good on Justified.
Let me tell you something about a man named Nick Searcy.
Yes, please.
He is a wonderful human being, isn't he?
He truly is.
I mean, I just love him and his family, and we're good golfing buddies. We haven't played in a long time, but I need to see that dude. He is definitely my favorite dad, right there next to Burt Reynolds.
Yeah, right?
Absolutely. I'll tell you what, that show, wrong place, wrong time, but a fantastic show, fantastic group. I mean, mainly because of that guy, we couldn't get through many takes.
Really?
Because he was so hilarious and playing such a ridiculous character. It was a lot of fun.
What was the name of the show?
It was called Easy Money, and he and Laurie Metcalf were our parents.
Right.
And it was about a family of loan sharks in the desert. And
sounds spectacular.
It really was. And the writing was great, and it was a really, really funny show. Laurie Metcalf was incredible, as she always is, and Nick, and the two of them together, and yeah, it was fantastic. Canceled.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So part of the rituals of the show is how we close the show. By the way, we're past 90 minutes.
Okay.
Just in case you're wondering.
That's right. It flew by, just like you said.
It was a conversation we had.
I like it.
Yeah. I'm gonna let you get back to your family.
No, well, okay.
You don't seem to be in a hurry. What are the ages of the boys now?
7.
Technically, I know 2 of them have the same age.
7 and 5. The twins are 5. Yeah. Prime age for just random nut punching. You know?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. It's great.
So
I know a grown man that still does that to everyone.
Well,
Joey Greer.
yes.
I'm actually one of those guys.
Are you? Take a bow?
Yeah.
That's my favorite. Take a bow. Leaning back behind you.
I did do it to Vinnie Kartheiser on the stage at the Emmys when we were accepted.
On stage, as the whole cast lines up for
we were walking up.
best show Emmy.
You're a terrible person.
No,
What a great moment.
but he's the perfect victim out of that entire cast. Perfect choice. Perfect choice.
He's gotten me quite a few times himself. So
Excellent. I can't thank you enough
I can't thank you enough, man.
For-
Dream come true.
for spending a Sunday with us. The ritual I spoke of is how we end the show. Jamie, our head writer, came up with this game called the Larry King game. We played a animated version earlier. Basically, I love when Larry was on CNN and before he would go to the phone calling out the city he wanted to talk to, he would stare down the barrel and share something. And it was always something no one needed to hear. No one cared about his love of Oreo cookies, whatever the fuck it was. This is also fun to play at parties or on the set, by the way.
Okay.
Because anyone can do it. It starts with a bad Larry King impression. I'm not interested in a good one. That it doesn't interest me at all. The worse Larry King impression, the funnier.
Okay.
So no pressure to do a good one.
Great.
As Larry, I want you to stare down the barrel and as Larry, share something about Larry. Not about you, you're Larry. Share any time in Larry's history, something that happened earlier that morning, and you can go all the way back to the prehistoric times. Larry being Larry. And then when you're finished with that thought, feeling, memory of Larry's, you go to the phones as a button to the bit, and whatever the name of the city is when you go to the phones, if it's funny sounding, you've got more than enough choices in Texas alone. It's going to help as the button of the bit. So, bad Larry King impression, share something about Larry, and then go to the phones. When you're ready, that's your camera. There's no way to fuck this up.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I've lost a lot of weight. My suspenders are a little loose tonight. I tried to buy a smaller pair, but they were all out. Tiller, Arkansas, go ahead.
Nice, there it is. That's how you play the Larry King game. The more mundane, the funnier. There's no way to fuck that up. Yeah, just go around a circle on the set. Have everyone play.
I like that.
Yeah, you will not believe the shit people come up with. Yeah, because as Larry, you can remember your first ride in a pterodactyl.
Right.
You know, there's such a rich history of the worst stories ever. Again, thank you to Jay Ferguson. Please sit there uncomfortably if you wouldn't mind, Jay, while I wrap things up.
I don't mind at all.
At home. The name of the new show, which I'm embarrassed to say we didn't talk about.
Actually, I'm a little embarrassed too. Should we say something?
Yeah. Let's.
We could go 93 minutes, right?
Martha Plimpton. Name some of your other.
Martha Plimpton, Noah Galvin, this incredible cast that we're so blessed to have. These young actors. Noah,
Finally, you're a parent.
It's crazy.
On a show.
It's full circle. Yeah, it's really insane. And Noah Galvin, Matt Shively, B.B. Wood, Mary Hollis Imboden. Great cast. Martha and I have a wonderful time playing off of each other. Tuesday nights, 8:30 after Fresh Off the Boat on ABC. And, we got my favorite episodes coming up this next Tuesday.
Your favorite because?
My favorite because the kids in it are so fantastic in this episode coming up.
Nice.
Nothing having to do with me. Literally, really. It's surprising to hear myself say that, but it's true.
Mid-season show, you did 13, you finished shooting them.
Did 13, finished. Now we're in television purgatory waiting to find out.
You'll find out soon enough.
Yeah.
A couple of months away.
That's right.
We wish you all the best.
Thank you very much.
The Real
O'Neills.
Oh, God, I almost got it on my own.
I know.
It's right here in the research.
I know.
The Real O'Neills.
That's okay.
You know, as long as we're adding bonus questions
Please,
at the end here, I
please.
have a very quick three-part question.
I love it.
What is higher? What is learning? What is higher learning?
Was that the promo for the movie?
That was in the movie.
Oh,
and
it was?
also in the promo for the movie.
Wow. What, did Fishburne say that in the movie?
No, some no-name character who's speaking at a rally says that, and that's where the title comes from.
Interesting.
But, so Billy in Higher Learning.
Yeah, that was my first movie.
Yeah,
Yep.
with John Singleton.
Mm-hmm.
That, interesting.
Yeah. It was
Less beard.
I don't even know if I had any hair on my face, or balls, or underarms, or anything. I was
22.
No, it was 19. It was 25. And did that, and I was so excited because I got to work with Ice Cube and Busta Rhymes, going back to my straight out of Compton in Dallas.
I wanted to bring
days.
it up then, but we scooted right past it.
And that was just, it was fantastic. Got to get beat up by Ice Cube.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's everybody's dream.
Yeah. Wasn't too excited about having to show my ass, but you know.
Oh, it was a lovely ass.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
It was a very young ass at the time.
Yeah.
Thanks,
I'm
Sammy.
so glad I could tack that one on.
Thanks, Sammy.
Yep.
Sammy did a movie once with Ice Tray. Ice. Single clap from the Dooms. All the way up top from the Dooms. There's job security, cracking wise. All right. Kenny Chen, follow-up question, or are we good? Okay, good. Jane Lynch next Sunday, followed by Jamie Lee Fitness, the live 7th anniversary show from Largo. Go to LA, Largo and Coronet for your tickets. They're going fast. Thanks again to our guests today, Jay Ferguson, Kenny Chen, floor director, Sam Levine, Jamie Foxx right there. Kicks to the side. Angie Johnson sitting in on makeup. Mike Dooman and Jason McIntyre in the crow's nest. Corey Levin on social media. Hey, why not? I want to thank Casey.
I think he's the king of Facebook.
He is the king of Facebook. Thank Sean Casey and all the gang here at the West Side Comedy Theater. Until next time, and as always, get out of my face.